Hi guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Vijeta, and today we shall be continuing with the Romantic period. We shall be doing preface to lyrical ballets. This is where we stopped. So, Preface to Lyrical Ballets is an essay composed by Wordsworth, published in the second edition in January 1801, often called the 1800 edition of Lyrical Ballets. The essay's opening lines, the first volume of these poems, has already been submitted to page 15 or 54 for general perusal. It was published as an experiment which I hoped might be of some use to ascertain how far, by fitting to metrical arrangement a selection of the real language of men in a state of a vivid sensation, that sort of pleasure and that quantity of pleasure may be imparted which a poet may rationally endeavour to impart. The preface was written to explain the theory of poetry guiding Wordsworth's composition of the poems. Wordsworth defends the unusual style and subjects of the poems as experiments to see how far popular poetry could be used to convey profound feeling. Here, Wordsworth defines his aesthetic as, I have therefore altogether declined to enter regularly upon this defense. In preface, he discusses his ideas of what the poet is, what poetry is, and most importantly, what the language of poetry is. Wordsworth first implies that a poet is the one who arranges language, expressing ideas in metrical form. This language he arranges is in a state of vivid sensation. Wordsworth also discusses what a poet is not. He states that anti-poets believe they become honored poets in this manner, but in reality, they only furnish food for poor taste, which lacks solid pairings and is fickle. Regarding poetry, Wordsworth implies that it is partly a matter of what is customary. Poetry is the spontaneous overflow of powerful feelings. It originates from emotions recollected in tranquility. According to Wordsworth, poetic language is the language of common people speaking everyday expressions and expressing everyday sensations of rural people in an idealized rural life. Ode Intimations of Immortality from Recollections of Early Childhood is a poem by Wordsworth completed in 1804 but published in 1807 in poems in 2 volumes. The poem was completed in 2 parts. The first part of the poem was completed in 1802 and a copy was provided to Coleridge, who responded to it with his own poem, Dejection and Ode, as well as Resolution and Independence. The poem is an irregular Pindaric ode in 11 stanzas that combines aspects of Coleridge's conversation poems, the religious sentiments of the Bible, and the works of Saint Augustine, and aspects of the elegiac and apocalyptic traditions. The last lines are thanks to human heart by which we live, thanks to its tenderness, its joys and fears. To me, the meanest flower that blows can give, thoughts that too often lie too deep for tears. The Prelude in 1850. The Prelude or Growth of a Poet's Mind, an autobiographical poem, is a conversation poem in blank verse. It is an extremely personal and revealing work on the details of Wordsworth's life. Now, he began to work on the Prelude in 1798 and continued to work on it throughout his life. On a letter to Dorothy, he referred to it as the poem on the growth of my own mind. Initially, Wordsworth titled it Poem to Coleridge, and it contains 14 books. The first version appeared in 1805. Book 1 is about introduction, childhood and school time. Book 2, school time, continued. Book 3, residence at Cambridge. Book 4, summer vacation. Book 5, books. Book 6, Cambridge and the Alps. Book 7, residence in London. Book 8, retrospect, love of nature leading to love of man. Book 9, residence in France. Book 10, the residence in France continued. Book 11, France concluded. Book 12, imagination and taste, how impaired and distorted. Book 13, imagination concluded. Book 14, conclusion. In the prelude, there is a description of Cambridge University. Famous quote: "Bliss was it in that dawn to be alive, but to be young was very heaven." Wordsworth coined the famous phrase "spots of time" in the prelude in Book 12 as: "There are in our existence spots of time that with distinct preeminence retain a renovating virtue whence depressed." In the prelude, there is an appearance of the boy of Menander who is affected by muteness in Book 5. Books: "There was a boy, ye knew him well, ye cliffs and islands of Menander, many a time." At evening, when the earliest star began, blew mimic hootings to the silent owls. In the above lines, it is clear that the boy of Menander is suffering from muteness. This boy is actually a dwarf, a tiny man. First version of Prelude in 2 books, 1799, second version in 13 books, 1805, third version in 14 books, 1850. Lines composed a few miles above Tintern Abbey. "For nature then the cursor, pleasures of my boyish days, and their glad animal movements, all gone by, to me was all in all." In the above lines, Wordsworth is talking about both first and second stage in his relationship with nature. The full title is "Lines Written a Few Miles Above Tintern Abbey on Revisiting the Banks of the Wye During a Tour, July 13, 1798." Yeah, so this finishes William Wordsworth, and yeah, and I'm thinking of continuing with Samuel Taylor Coleridge in the next lecture, and I hope you liked it. Subscribe to my channel. Comment section is open always, and share. And I will meet you all in the next video. Thank you.